no. That's a no, isn't it? That's a no. No games for Jason.
What does pupil voice mean for children with learning difficulties and those who teach and work with them?
Oh, lovely.
Two special schools in North London, Oakley Primary in Barnet and Kingsley High School in Harrow, are part of a collaborative action research group hosted by the University of Hertfordshire to share their practice in this crucial area. At Kingsley, their action research has involved finding out what choices students might make in their break times.
There you go. Enjoy.
Last year, when you were downstairs, you were told what you had to do. You had to have your drink and your snack, and you couldn't do anything else. But now, you're in post-16. You're very big. Yeah, you are, Billy, aren't you? So this now means you've got some choices. You can choose what it is that you want to do.
We have to all think of reasons that we're proud of Kazim.
At Oakley, the pupil voice research has focused on how Key Stage 1 pupils might be able to have a voice in the classroom, and specifically in their annual review.
Right, Salma, do you want to say what your favourite thing about Kazim is?
At an annual review meeting, the various professionals and the family will each deliver their views on how the child's got on this year and plans for the next year, and also review the child's statement to see if it's still applicable. The bit that was missing was the pupil voice.
And my favourite thing about Kazim is how hard he tries all the time. You try really hard at everything.
Kazim's been in Orange class for several years, and this year was the first year that he's participated in his annual review. He's someone who's very good at telling you what he likes and doesn't like, and he's also someone who amazes you every day with the things that he'll do. So I wanted to find a way that he could be involved.
Hello! What?
The annual review thing, it blew me away. It was in the class and with the physiotherapist and the teacher and all the other staff involved. And as they were showing things he had done and achieved, Kazim was there as well. So you could look at him and see what he's achieved, and that was the good thing. He was there clapping and having fun, and they were showing me what he had achieved.
We had to go right back to how the pupils communicate choices and communicate to us what they like or don't like. It gave us a springboard to really start working together as a class team, doing lots of video, keeping lots of records of activities. It took us a lot deeper into pupil choice.
I want crisps. Which crisps, Kira? I want yellow crisps. I am sorry, Kira. Well, Kira is extremely communicative, as you saw, but often the difficulty is that she does like her own company, and sometimes we struggle to find things that motivate her enough to show us how well she can communicate. When we first started the Pupil Voice project, we were all very focused on finding ways of Kira to make a meaningful contribution in her own annual review. Have a look. But that doesn't say ball. Have a look. I want yellow ball. Clever girl.
Kira's annual review was the first one that we tried as part of the project, and what Chloe did was she produced a PowerPoint presentation of photos and comments of not only Kira expressing what she likes and doesn't like, but photos of Kira showing us how she expresses what she likes and doesn't like. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work for a range of reasons. It was a strange environment for her. Her parents were there, lots of other people were there. it didn't feel right, and it didn't feel right to her parents, and it didn't feel right to us.
We learned things from the annual review that we're now focusing on, for example, helping Kira to transfer her learning to different situations, or helping Kira to cope when there are people she doesn't know in the classroom. You read that right. You said, I want ball shiny. I want... You want the shiny ball. Kira, this is the spotty ball, and you may have it.
Hi, how are you?
One of the things that's common to both pupil voice projects is the use of video. At Kingsley, they used video to observe patterns of student behaviour, helped by Julie Steer from the University of Hertfordshire.
We videoed right at the start of this project and used that for the staff to look at what was actually happening in break time. And then I've just come back to video all the changes that they've made in the 9 months since the project started. Video is one of the key ways of capturing pupil voice in any school, but particularly in a special school where there's so little verbal communication. I mean, just seeing Elliot racing around out here today, playing outside compared to in February when he didn't have as much choice and wasn't so fulfilled in breaks, just been fantastic to come back and see how much they've done in the course of the project.
John Hartley was responsible for devising the project at Kingsley.
Some of our students have particularly complex needs, and actually getting to find out what they want and what they prefer, what choices they would make is quite a challenge. We spent a couple of weeks observing the students at break time. Each teaching assistant and teacher within the department spent one break time observing a specific student to see what they did, how they interacted with other people, with other students, with other staff, and whether we could interpret that perhaps as them exercising their own sort of voice.
Which is your name? Elliot. Which one? Well done.
And the crux of it at the end, I suppose, was actually asking the students directly, and we did that through a traditional survey method, but adapted specifically to our students' needs.
You have got lots and lots of choices. And what we're going to do...
Today, Audrey's Year 12 class are making their break time choices for the first time.
Are you looking? You're going to tell me what you'd like to do at break time?
Some students had a photographic-based survey on a sheet so they could identify activities through photographs.
Music, the girl.
Some students who perhaps found the photos too small, we blew the photos up to A5 size.
Classroom. Magazines.
And then the third stage was students with severe and complex needs for whom communication is often the glance of an eye, perhaps, or just the twitch of a finger or a slight smile. So we presented them with objects of reference to represent the choices that were available on the paper-based survey.
Do you like the magazine?
Yes.
Well done, Jason. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Oh, that's a double yes, is it? Thank you. Double yes.
It's a case of questioning and drawing out, and also being patient and allowing them to speak, so not having to answer for them. That's one of the things I think is quite difficult about working in a special school, because you immediately want to answer. So you have to learn just to sit back and just to wait, and whatever that choice is, you have to respect that choice because they've made that themselves.
Often the children are communicating to us, and actually the job is for us to find what that communication is. And that's, again, a video is quite a nice thing, that you can watch that and you can suddenly see something. My goodness, that's, you know, they did that. I never saw it, and I never would have seen it if I hadn't looked at the video. It was just at the end of lunchtime, and we would often play music or we were singing songs or something, and I just clocked Salma singing. One of the things that really struck me was that, you know, he was a girl who had found her voice. I then realised she had the potential herself to sing, and her sort of musical abilities and her singing is blossoming. Harry's a new little boy to my class and to the school, and he has a severe visual impairment. He loves anything with a strong light. He's my next child that I'm thinking about in terms of his contribution to his annual review. So in terms of his annual review, what I was thinking was that maybe at some point we can all retire to the sensory room, which is a favourite environment of Harry's. Harry's showing them how well he's doing on this particular bit of his development.
What kind of drinks did you want? What kind of drinks did you want? Did you want milk? Milk. Our staff have to be very, very in tune with the students, know the students very well, and believe, I think fundamentally believe that the students are making attempts to communicate.
Break times for classes 1 to 6.
And the school council is one of the first things that people who visit our school see. That the students are on display, their minutes are on display, the work that they do. So there's a clear message to people who visit our school that our students are at the forefront of the school.
Most of our students' life happens to them, and they're basically recipients of everything, and I think it's really important that our students actually have some input and become proactive. And you could say, you know, we know the students well enough to make decisions for them, but we're not them.
Anything else? Okay. Would you like to go outside, Rachel? Because you don't normally, do you? Would you like that? Okay.
Really, what we're trying to do, definitely at Kingsley, we're trying to enable them to have their own voice so that they are able, you know, to go out into the world and to be able to say, yes, I would like to do this, or no, I wouldn't like to do this, as everyone has that right to be able to do.
I have banana, I have biscuit, I have crisps. I think the pupil voice, particularly in a special school, is about us interpreting the children's behaviour and finding their voice for them. There's always the danger, though, that you may misinterpret. So I think it's really important that you get a shared understanding. The only way to do that is by knowing the child very well and knowing what their different sounds mean and knowing what their different gestures mean.
We're right at the beginnings of pupil voice. We're at that stage of exploration. We haven't found the answer by any means. But that's what's so exciting, is that, you know, for some children we will find some very exciting ways in which they can give their voice, and other children it's much more challenging.
There isn't a huge amount of extra work, but there is extra thinking, because when it works well and when we get it right, the knock-on is so positive for the child, the family, the staff, everybody, that you just want to do it again, but you want to get it right again.
Thank you for coming, everyone, and the meeting is now finished.
Thank you, thank you.